Hi, I'm Paul Bergerino, Community Education and Engagement Specialist with the Contra Costa Elections Department. Welcome to a forum of candidates running for the 5th District Contra Costa Board of Supervisors seat in the November 8th general election. The 5th District includes Hercules, Pinole, Pittsburgh, Bay Point, Antioch, Martinez, Clyde, and Crockett. Today's forum is sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Diablo Valley, the League of Women Voters of West Contra Costa, and the Contra Costa Elections Division. We're recording these roundtables here in the studios of Contra Costa Television. The candidates are Ana Marie Avila Farias and Federal Glover. We'll start. The first question will be for you, Ms. Farias, and it is, what do you see are the opportunities in District 5 and countywide for economic development and to help grow the county's economy?
I think there's a lot of opportunity from housing to transportation to economic development that all have the synergy that can build up on one another. I think that the economic opportunity that we have is having the waterfront corridor and really developing a broader vision that encompasses all the cities within the district. We all have beautiful shorelines. And there needs to be a master plan that goes from Pittsburgh on to Pinole that will infuse economic development. Creating jobs is so critical to all of our cities. Pittsburgh, was an industrial community, and there's new emerging industries that we need to look at and bring to our communities and create the job centers in each of our respective cities, from Pittsburgh to Martinez to Crockett to Port Costa. So developing those job centers is the economic engine to the county and generating those revenues that we need to pay city services and county services. So I look forward to bringing my 27 years of economic development experience to foster a good economic plan. Great.
Mr. Glover.
That's a great answer from my opponent. Actually, I implemented the initiative, the Northern Waterfront Initiative, which is taking on the opportunity to look at all of our unused land and underutilized land to bring to that northern waterfront the economic opportunities to provide jobs, as well as the ability to do recreation and use that northern waterfront for best use. We have contacted all of the cities within the county, in particular the cities that are along the northern waterfront, as well as the communities that are represented by the municipal advisory boards. And we have a plan that is going forward and in the process of really making that underutilized area an economic boom as it once for us.
Okay, and because of a follow-up question to that for both of you, seeing as that plan is going through, what are some of the type of jobs that you would like to see eventually as the plan continues to move into that area?
Well, we're looking at the industrial jobs. We're looking at green jobs. We're looking at the opportunity to provide more manufacturing along that area, and also looking for the tech industry to really be involved in some of the development that might take place there. Also, some residential that would allow people to live, work within the communities in which they exist. So this plan is going forward, and we really are being very aggressive in making sure that we connect with all the communities to understand what their general plans are and how they want those areas to be developed. The county is facilitating this process, but it's in conjunction with all of the cities, as well as the other stakeholders. That's going to be very important in making it happen.
Well, I want to be a county board of supervisor that actually brings the leadership that encompasses a greater economic benefit to the whole county, not a specific city. And I think where there could be stronger leadership and enhancements to the Northern Waterfront Initiative is encompassing Martinez, Crockett, Rodeo, and Port Costa. Being out there with the residents, they feel very left out, and they also feel that there's economic opportunity and viability in their community, and it's not reflective in that master document. And so I I'd like to bring the leadership that really master plans our waterfront so that we can all prosper and bring the job centers to our communities that help people live, work, and raise their families in their desired community. We wouldn't have to build up an infrastructure and transportation if we weren't creating job centers away from our homes. So I think there's a huge opportunity to be able to infuse different industries, modern technologies, STEM. There is no reason why we cannot be a different type of Silicon Valley and find our niche, because each of the respective communities have their niche. And so I want to hone into our niche and develop it and foster it and develop a workforce around that.
If I could, I need to make sure that it's understood that the Northern Waterfront development runs from the foot of Oakley to the head of Pinole. And we're looking to develop that, and it's been all-inclusive that we're working together to do that plan. And I don't understand what my opponent talks about when she says a master plan. The white paper is just about to come out on that, so I don't know what she's seen in terms of a master plan, but this is my initiative, and no master plan has been put out at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about, we have a marina. I'll take my hometown. We have a Martinez Marina that has a $13 million infrastructure deficit. We owe $4 million to the state, and we've had no dialogue with the current incumbent on this issue or any leadership on it. I'm out in the communities. I'm endorsed by the mayor of Hercules and Pinole, and they feel not included in this master plan. So my point of reference is elected officials in the respective cities west of Vicksburg saying we are not included in this process, and being brought to forums hearing about what's going to happen in Vicksburg. Why that's wonderful, and I'm very supportive of that. It's not a regional perspective of economic development.
If I could, I think that we need to be very clear in terms of what is taking place and very transparent. We have been working with the city of Martinez, where my opponent resides, and one of the things that we've been able to do is to bring benefits to the city of Martinez and work with them on what we can do in terms of the marina. It's interesting that she would say that, because in the last 4 years, she's done nothing to bring revenues there. I've been the major opponent of bringing those things to the city of Martinez. Matter of fact, $1.8 billion of infrastructure has been built with my fight to bring that to this region. And $121 million of that has been spent in the Martinez area.
Would you like to?
Oh, if I have time, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
The $1.8 billion of traffic congestion, we have to reverse engineer this transportation, and why I understand Mr. Glover would like to take credit. We operate in commissions and boards, and the MCTC, there's several people there, and one, you have to be there, be engaged, and really show the leadership. Sitting at a dais representing a benefit that would have came to our area is not saying that you champion something. Secondly, I've been on the council for years. I've been actively engaged for the last 20 years in my community. I've never seen any leadership around my waterfront. Never seen any negotiations happen that we've needed at the state level from our county board of supervisors. Hence, I would not be sitting here challenging this opponent if we had that leadership in my hometown that I grew up in.
Okay, I'm gonna stop this one right here. You guys can go back in your closing statements, and if you want to use your time on that, I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. No pun intended, but we're gonna talk a little bit about transportation. And I know Measure X is gonna be on the ballot in November. So aside from that, and I think it leads to what you were saying a little bit, but what are some things you would want to do to address transportation issues in Contra Costa County?
Well, obviously, it centers around many facets. Obviously, job centers, creating job centers in our community so we're not on the road. Transportation impacts everyone. And currently, we have commuters between 1.5 hours to 3 hours coming from all over the Bay Area. It's the most congested freeways all throughout the Bay Area. And frankly, what is being done is not enough because we've not created the job centers, particularly in Contra Costa County, and also the affordable housing housing that we need to happen throughout this county, so people aren't having to commute further from their job centers and their housing. So what we can do short term, Highway 4 is a mess. I've now can no longer travel to Concord in 15 minutes. Takes 30 minutes at that peak hour, and it's the rush hour of commute. And there's blockages throughout the freeway, so we need to invest in job centers locally. We need to create housing so people can live, work, and get people off the freeways, and expand public services to public transportation. We are a community. We have to reverse engineer the suburbs.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I have fought for the $1.8 billion that has come into this region. And that fight has not been easy, but we've been able to make some progress in terms of the transportation infrastructure, which is so important, not only here within our region, but within the county as a whole. We are doing some things. We've been able to bring of that over $1 billion in the Highway 4 corridor going east, and I've worked on that for a number of years. Transportation issues is not a sprint, it's a marathon, and we have worked very hard to do those things. We can see that the back end of the Eastern County area opening up to be able to get out to the Tri-Valley. We're looking at our opportunities as it exists with State Route 239 to be able to further that activity. We have brought EBART, I'll call it BART, to the region that is going to be very helpful in the city of Pittsburgh and Antioch. We're now working on the real bottleneck that is, with State Route 4 and one.
Sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off on this one. What is your, going back to you on this question, what is your position on the Tassajara Parks new farm project?
Again, I've been a strong supporter of open space in the urban limit line. That is one that will be coming before the board sometime soon, and we're going to make those decisions, understanding my support for open space and the ability to respect the urban limit line.
Ms. Reyes?
As a big supporter of open space, I live in the home of John Muir. We have beautiful ridgeline, various open space areas that have been protected over the years. On the council, I personally, with my colleagues, protected 44 acres of ridgeline property, and we're in the midst of trying to protect other ridgeline property in Martinez. I believe everybody should have, and we should all bring the leadership to protecting open space and preventing urban sprawl and promoting sustainability and infill, especially since we have 44 parcels in this county of brownfields that we can do a lot of infill there and prevent us from continuing this urban sprawl. So I am a big supporter of open space in this county and protecting future generations to have a quality of life that we are so enjoying right now.
And just to say, I'm talking about the things that I have done. I fought for the urban limit line. I was probably one of the authors of the urban limit line, and it's to make sure that we were able to not only do the open space, but also to be able to look at our infrastructure and assure that we had the facilities to make sure that we don't do anything outside of the urban limit line.
Okay. Well, I was going to add this follow-up question to what is your position, I'll start with you since you brought it up, on the use of the 30-acre urban limit line exemption?
That policy was put in place in order that if there were some opportunities to do some things outside of the urban limit line as it had impact on the various communities, that could happen. Certainly the Board of Supervisors has the discretion to make those determinations, and they would have to meet the all the conditions that are set, which there are 8 conditions that are in place in order to make any change possible. And I would very much scrutinize everything that came through as we look at the opportunity for anyone to use the 30-acre exemption.
Okay. Ms. Reyes?
I support the urban limit line staying as is. I think we need to stay within the parameters of the sandbox. I think there's plenty of economic opportunity for infill. So I don't ever foresee under my leadership having to exercise those exemptions to expand it. Again, we need to stay within the sandbox because there's a lot of opportunity in our current communities now with infill.
Okay. Next question, shifting gears a little bit. The Board of Supervisors came under fire or some scrutiny in early 2015 for eventually approving a raise. What do you think is an acceptable salary for a supervisor?
Well, I don't think really the question is, I mean, public service is an intangible amount, but I think really the crux of the problem here is we have 10,000 county employees who have made a lot of sacrifices, who are the working class going into the working poor, and the salary increase is there was not equitability. That you need to take care of the heart and soul of the county, which are delivering direct services to our clients, to our community. And when the internal infrastructure is crumbling of employees paying, you know, over 50% of their income towards either health care, being stripped of benefits, giving back with furloughs, and then seeing the county board of leadership take a 33% salary increase on top of a 60 that happened 10 years before, it's very disheartening. And so this is public service, being leadership to the county. And I think the framework, there really is not a value of public service and compensation if you're not a direct service delivery person.
Mr. Glover?
Certainly the board came under you know, the light of all, and one of the things that I will say is it was a total mistake. And the bottom line is that the board went back, we listened to the residents and the other constituencies, and we did not take that raise. Matter of fact, we went back and we formed a committee of folks to come back with resolution in terms of what that raise should be. So let's just be real clear. We knew it was a mistake, and we tried to rectify that by bringing together stakeholders that could come up with a determination, and we were able to move forward with the raise that was put in place. And it was a 7% raise.
May I add another element as well? It was not a 7% raise overall. The County Board of Supes ended up taking between, I think, a 17 and 19% raise. As a public employee myself for 27 years, in union environments and management environments, I have never endured beyond the cost of living anything beyond 6%. And as a public employee, to see County Board of Supervisors, even within a 2-year period, to phase in nearly a 17% salary increase is really an inequity, an injustice to the public employees who've dedicated a lifetime to this profession. So why they did retract it, they did not retract it to what are meaningful cost of living increases. It was still excessive compared to what the average employee gets in this, I would say, even state.
I would say the Board of Supervisors certainly has not over the years given themselves raises, and so we're so far behind in terms of what it is that we get. But again, we made a mistake in terms of the 33%. We went back and retracted. We're still lower than counties of this size, but again, we will incrementally try to make that up over time, but not at that raise amount ever again.
Okay. Well, switching gears now, and I'll start with you on this one, Mr. Glover. Homelessness in Contra Costa County is a big issue, and a lot of, you know, it's a. What role do you think the county and as a county supervisor you have in making sure that the folks the homeless are treated with dignity and also not creating problems?
Well, it's a huge problem, not just here in Contra Costa, but throughout the state of California. But we're working to address the homeless issue. A number of task forces have been put in place. And one of the things that is happening right now is that we have a facility that is about to be foreclosed on, where it could put 95 women and children out of housing, but we're stepping in the county to see that that doesn't happen, that we do not displace people. And we're also looking at how we're going to be able to continue to provide facilities in order to accommodate those folks.
Homelessness is a very complicated issue. As a professional in the field of housing and community development, I've dedicated a lifetime to working with other colleagues. I'm currently a governor appointee to the state of California addressing the current housing crisis affecting the state and impacting us here in Contra Costa County. We have a problem. We have 4,000 homeless individuals in Contra Costa County. We have a pipeline of housing that is not being constructed of all affordability housing types. We need emergency shelters, we need transitional shelters, we need permanent affordable housing, we need homeownership opportunities. And unfortunately, this county has suffered from not having strong leadership and advocacy around trying to create these preventative programs that mitigate homelessness in our county with the supportive services. And I'm going to bring my 27 years of experience to address and be a voice for the voiceless in this county, in particular around housing issues and homeless issues. We need to not become the next San Francisco of encampments throughout our communities.
Thank you.
Just a rebuttal on that.
Sure.
I think one of the things that's important when you serve on these particular state and local agencies is that you don't talk about what you're gonna do. 25 years serving on the governing board, the problem is that there's no deliverables in terms of what happens here in Contra Costa County. We're talking about what you're gonna do. What have you done? And no bacon has been brought to Contra Costa County with her position on the advisory board. And so if there's something that she's brought here, I would like to know what that is.
Well, Mr. Glover, I think my profession has brought a lot more than you have brought to the county on the housing issues. One, I'm an advocate, and you are an elected official who has not brought the execution to it. So I've been there advocating for affordable housing throughout not only my professional career, but as a resident in this county advocating. On top of that, being appointed by the governor, being a publicly trusted employee to come advocate and bring those, I'm not in your seat at the moment, but you have failed on that front. And in my community, I have advocated for housing elements to address homeless, transitional housing, and the production. On top of that, I have funded programs, I have worked with nonprofits, and being in a leadership will allow me to really bring the stronger leadership, case in point, to build affordable housing in this county to address a very demanding need.
Okay. Well,
I need to be able to state this, you have worked up in this industry for a number of years. You were let go from the city of San Francisco. You were let go from the city of Concord, and that's because you have not been able to deliver. And we need to have people that are sound in what they do and bring some deliverables. You cannot sit on a state position and not be able to articulate how you have made any impacts. Impacts are made by the county every day. Through our home funds and through our CBDG, we have brought housing to the city of Martinez. We have brought affordable housing to the city of Martinez. You have been on these agency boards and advocacy boards, and nothing have you brought to this county, to your city that you represent.
Well, that shows how disengaged you are, Mr. Glover, and I beg to differ with you on all fronts. You should obviously probably have your fact checks. I'm an administrator of a program. I'm not a policymaker. I have ran programs, multi-million-dollar programs. So you want to disparage the legacy of Willie Brown, Gavin Newsom, who have administered the CDBG community block grant funds, home programs. So let's stick to the point here. In Martinez, you opposed our first project of affordable housing for seniors chronically ill. You brought no support to it, and you want to tell me I'm not an advocate of it? Mr. Glover, I think we need to check our track record. I have a profession in the field as an administrator. You have a role as an elected official to push the policy, and you have failed that. And when I'm in that seat, I'm going to bring that leadership as a policymaker, not as an administrator. Big difference.
Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to cut you guys off there. Thank you to our candidates for answering some of these important questions. Each candidate will now have 90 seconds to make a closing statement, and we'll start with you, Ms. Frias.
Well, I'm excited about my candidacy. I'm a lifelong resident of Contra Costa County, raised in Martinez. I have over 27 years of public service administering very important county programs, not only in my own community, San Francisco County, Alameda County. I'm very proud of my public service. It is untouchable, and I'm excited to bring my experience in local government to the County Board of Supervisors. In addition to my skills and qualifications, I bring 20 years of public service within my own community, 10 years of Planning Commission, Park and Rec. No one is given the way I have given in my community by being engaged. And the biggest paradigm shift that is going to happen in 2016 is I'm going to be an accessible Board of Supervisor who is engaged with my community, engaged with solving the problems that are inflicting our community, from poverty to jobs to housing. We have a district that we have the fastest growing city in poverty, which is my opponent's hometown in Pittsburgh, jobs and crime. We have a community in Martinez that has been neglected for years. Our neighbors to the west, Pinole and Crockett, are in desperate need of infusion of leadership with services tied to that. I'm excited about my candidacy to bring a new, fresh perspective, to realign Main Street and get Wall Street out of Cocoa County politics. I'm ready to roll up my sleeves. I'm passionate about the district. I'm excited to be an engaged supervisor willing to address the issues in this county that have been so neglected, from the county employees down to the residents, our seniors, our veterans, our families trying to make a living in this county. Their voices lost. I'm going to be that voice for those individuals, regardless of any professional criticism. Thank you.
Mr. Glover.
Thank you. I am proud to have served the last 16 years, and I'm looking forward to serving again. Many times we talk about what we're going to do. My record reflects what I have done. My ability to bring people together, to build the bridges that are needed, to bring resources to Contra Costa County are noted very well. And I have been an individual that have been collaborative. We have been the individual that have brought tough situations and been able to overcome those situations within the county. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to continue to serve. I have the support of former Congressman George Miller, as well as Mark DeSagne, the current congressman, as well as all of the representatives at the state legislature who serve us within this community. I have not been asleep and away from the job. I have been very active. Even in my stay in San Francisco for over a year, where I was getting a kidney and heart transplant, I was working. We got work done, and we continue to serve this community. We will do that. It will be continuous. I also have the support of the colleagues on the Martinez Board of Supervisors, where my opponent serves. I have the majority of the support from those individuals, as well as the mayor. So we're looking forward to really continuing to do the work that we have done for a number of years.
That concludes our forum of candidates running for the 5th District Contra Costa Board of Supervisors seat in the November 8th general election. Once again, the candidates are Anne Marie Avila Farias and Federal Glover. For more information on the candidates, visit the website votersedge.org. To view this broadcast online, go to www.contracostatv.org. I'm Paul Bergerino. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to vote on November 8th.